First, let's define what target fixation is. Target fixation happens when a rider becomes so focused on an object or hazard that they end up riding directly into it. Target fixation and the results of it happen more often than we think. Have you ever seen a large crack in the road or a pothole in the middle of the road, and in your attempt to avoid it, instead of getting around it, you ride directly over it? Well, one of the big reasons for that is target fixation. In instances like this, they're often not very dangerous, but they are a warning to a larger problem, and that's a problem with target fixation. Because what if that object or that fixation that you're so focused on is a car pulling out in front of you, or a child running out in the road, or you're going around a curve and there's a large tree or a guardrail right to the outside of the road, and you fixate on that rather than looking through the corner. In these instances, your problem with target fixation can carry much greater consequence than just trying to get around a pothole in the road. But those potholes give us a warning sign that there's a problem. So let's go through some tips to help you practice and lessen the chances of falling prey to target fixation. First, look where you want to go. This is obvious, but it's something that we need to constantly be reminded of, looking where we want the motorcycle to go. This means as you're going around corners, your head and eyes are looking through the corner. You're turning your head, looking through that corner, or as I like to say, you're pointing your nose in the direction that you want the motorcycle to go. On the open road, it means looking up the road, so not directly at the car in front of you, but as far up the road as you can see. And if you need to position your motorcycle over so that you can see between cars, wherever you can position your motorcycle to allow you to see further up the road, but not staring directly at the license plate in front of you, or not looking at the other traffic that's coming in the opposite direction, or staring or fixating on targets that are coming in from the sides, but looking where you want the motorcycle to go. Being able to see further up the road is going to allow you to see hazards a lot sooner, and it's going to allow you to adjust on the road rather than having to react to it at the last second. Next, use your peripheral vision. You can practice this on a parking lot with small cones and swerve around them. Look at the intended path of the escape and use your peripheral vision to monitor the position of the cones to make sure that you avoid them. You can also do this on road with potholes. See potholes all the time. Look at your escape route rather than looking down at the pothole that you're trying to avoid. And you can practice this every time you run into a pothole out on the street. Another way you can practice using your peripheral vision is to practice stopping with your motorcycle at two cones set up on the pavement. So you ride up to those cones, and the idea is to stop your motorcycle directly even with them while you're keeping your head and eyes up, not looking down at the cones, but using your peripheral vision to see those cones. My eye accident several years ago, I still have my peripheral vision, so I can still see my hand over here, though I've got a large blind spot in the center of my vision. Had I lost total vision in the eye and I lose vision of this hand over here now, that makes riding much more difficult because I can't see what's coming up from the side, and it would greatly hinder my ability to use my peripheral vision while riding on a motorcycle. So peripheral vision is huge, and you want to learn to use that as much as you can without turning your eyes, fixating on the target. Use your peripheral vision to see those objects and make your adjustments on the road. Next, relax your grip. Relaxing your grip is going to have nothing to do with where you're looking, but if you're riding tight, it will affect your ability to steer or get around an obstacle. If you ride with your shoulders, arms, and grips on the handlebars tight, it's going to make it almost impossible to avoid a hazard, even if you're doing everything correctly with your head and eyes. If you're tight here, it's going to make it very difficult to avoid the hazard. So relax. Check yourself frequently while you're riding on the road and remind yourself to stay relaxed. Remind yourself, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. You could check your arm if your arms are relaxed. If you can do this, you're relaxed. If you rotate your arms and they look like that, you're not relaxed. You've got your arms stretched out and in a locked position. You want your arms relaxed so that you can do that chicken flap and have some movement in your elbows without locking them out. Practice emergency maneuvers. Do you want to know the biggest reason why riders are not able to avoid hazards? Because they don't practice. The field guide, right here, the field guide has got practice exercises developed specifically to train you in avoidance techniques. Things like emergency braking, swerving, stopping in a curve, and brake and escape are exercises in this field guide designed specifically to help you in those situations. If you don't practice them, they won't be there when you need them on the streets. Stay calm. You know, I believe some people are just wired differently than others. Some folks are wired so tight it doesn't take a whole lot to get them rattled. Others stay calm and cool in a more difficult situation. And I think part of that is just how we're wired up. It's how we're created. But there is something you can do to increase your calm factor. And with that, we'll get back into training. You know, have you ever marveled at the coolness of a professional quarterback? Millions and millions of people are watching on TV, the championship's on the line, and they walk up to the line of scrimmage and they deliver the perfect pass for the game-winning touchdown. Part of the reason why they can stay calm is because they've practiced this exact scenario thousands of times in practice. They have run this exact same play that they just called in the huddle. They can look at the defense. They can see what's expected of the defense. They know the play that they're about to run. They know where the receivers are supposed to be. They know what the blocking scheme is. And it's because they've done it thousands of times in practice and in their own head. But now let's say we're in the Super Bowl, we're in the championship, and the very last play of the game, our starting quarterback gets hurt, and we have to bring in a quarterback that has never played or practiced with this team. And you could take a very skilled quarterback, put them in the game on the same team in the exact same scenario, but they've never practiced with that team, and you can ask them to pull off that victory, and they're going to struggle. Well, it's obvious why, because they don't know the play. They've never practiced with the team. Their lack of practice puts a ton of pressure on them when they need to perform at that exact moment. When we ride on the street, we're the quarterback of our own motorcycle, and we're one of these two quarterbacks. We either know the plays or we don't know the plays. We've either trained for this exact scenario or we have not. We either perform when everything is on the line or we don't perform. The difference is training and practice, but the consequences of our failure on a motorcycle are much greater than just losing a game. It takes practice and training. You know, check out all the options of membership at training at MCrider.com/member and make sure you're prepared when the situation on the street depends on it. Till next week, guys, it's Kim with MC Rider, and I'll see you on the road. There's a whole lot more to MC Rider than just the weekly videos. Go to MCrider.com/member. You'll get instant access to the forums and the field guide. You get ad-free MC Rider videos and a whole lot more. Go to MCrider.com/member for all the details.